Hey, well, good evening and welcome back to the Brothas-in-law. And on this channel, we discuss police-involved incidents that occur around the country, and we give our analysis on the actions of those police officers to see if their actions are what a reasonable officer would do. We also look at the actions of the citizens to see if they have followed our acronym of CALM, which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. Would their situation have turned out differently? Now, you may agree or disagree with us, and that is totally fine. You are entitled to your own opinion. We're basing our analysis off previous experiences that we have been through as law enforcement officers. I'm a former Virginia State Trooper of 7 years, and I'm a retired Navy Chief Petty Officer. And my co-host tonight is Mr. Michael Bradley.
Hey, what's going on? Jesus loves you. I see you. Jesus loves you. You made it today. That's cool. That's cool. I'm Mike Bradley. I'm the co-host of this show. I'm a retired police officer of 26 years in Northern California, also a 6-year Army veteran. So we kind of know what we're talking about. You know, like Corey said, we giving you our opinion based on our training and experience in doing this job for 26 years, right? So, you know, like you say, a lot of times, Corey, we come across people who they will look at the police as a symbol of oppression, and ain't nothing you're gonna do or say that's gonna change their opinion. And that's we're not trying to argue with you on that. We just are simply telling you how we feel, what we think, what we interpret, and either you take it or leave it. We try to keep people alive. We're trying to keep people from getting into those situations where they will end up getting into a physical confrontation with police that could be bad or even worse, deadly. You know what I'm saying? So we want to stop that. That's our whole intent here. If we come across and we say some law or something that you don't agree with, or even if you know something better, hey, we ain't no stranger. We might have some case law sometimes or something like that, and may not have the right section or something. Feel free to come on here and prove us wrong and say, oh no, this was decided this way by this case, or whatever information you have that's knowledgeable. We'd be more than willing to say, hey, we made a mistake, we were wrong, or whatever. Police officers, law enforcement is a forever learning process. You know what I'm saying? There's always experiences. There's always new laws coming out every year. You know what I'm saying? And because Corey and I, we don't do the job anymore, hey, sometimes we might miss something. You know what I'm saying? That's okay. We're going by what we've already had and what we've already learned. Not that there's something new or some new change that's going to come out later. You know what I'm saying? But we got a good one lined up for you today. You know what I'm saying? So acting crazy.
Acting crazy for sure. Before we get into this, go ahead and hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you're new to our channel. And first and foremost, I want to thank everybody for watching our video for the first one for this year. Got a lot of views and a lot of comments, so we appreciate that. Helps keep supporting our channel by going to our merch shop at brothers-in-law.myspreadshop.com. Get you a nice little Brothers-in-Law podcast t-shirt and support the channel. Everything we do helps grow our channel. And get the message of staying calm, which stands for comply, answer questions, listen, and move on. We're both former police officers. We support the police. That's why I had the blue lives flag behind me. I'm not a gang member. Does not mean you're a part of a gang member. Again, like Mike said, sorry you feel that way based on maybe some bad experience you had with law enforcement. But that doesn't mean that every cop is a bad cop. Is everyone in your profession bad? No. Are there bad apples in your profession? I'm sure there are. All right, but that's neither here nor there. We're here to talk about Circle K clerk caught for car fraud and resisting arrest and kicking police. What did she have a tantrum on here, Mike?
She this is an example of a citizen who may not have a firm grasp on what they should and should not do when they are confronted by police. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully we can give you some insight. As far as laws and stuff like sections and vehicle code sections and case laws and stuff, you know, sometimes, and we'll mention it on this video, but there's some states that may have different vehicle code laws when it comes to running license plates and license plates being visible or something, whatever that may be. It's easy to check your state's vehicle code. You know what I'm saying? So I would always encourage you, if you want to know whether or not this is a violation on this vehicle or your vehicle, or if you have all the things you're supposed to have on your vehicle, check with your local vehicle code, and you can easily find that law in your state or your city on what you're supposed to have and what you're not supposed to have. And we're gonna get it.
Yep. Go ahead and set it up, bro.
All right. So as Corey said, I'm gonna start this up. This happened earlier last year in May. Cops were running plates. They were running plates, which is something you can do. Police officers can randomly in the state of California. They don't have to have any reason to run a license plate. We're not talking about detaining you. We're not talking about making contact with you yet. We're just simply driving through a lot, running a license plate, and we can get the registered owner and whether or not there's something associated with that plate that we need to be concerned about, like the owner might have some warrants or something like that.
To your point, what you just said, Mike, every state is different. Here in Virginia, you can't run that plate unless you got probable cause to run that plate. I can't.
So check with your local laws. That's interesting, Corey. You know,
that's why you need to check with your law.
You can out in California. Remember, out in California, I don't know about your state. Like Corey said, Virginia is different, but out in California, police can run your license plate anywhere for any reason at any time because your license plate is not violating your rights. It's open to the public to see. It's clearly visible. It's in California, your license plate is supposed to be clearly visible. If it's not, that's actually a violation that you could be pulled over for. Okay. Right. Your VIN number has to be clearly visible from the outside of the vehicle. That's a law in California too. So check with your local state laws and see what is required. But let's get to this video. In this case, these officers saw this car parked in a gas station parking lot. They ran.
And this happened back outside of Cleveland, Ohio.
Yeah, Ohio. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they ran the plate, which they didn't make contact with anybody yet. There was nobody in the vehicle at that time. They ran the plate, found the registered owner of the vehicle. That plate did not belong on that particular vehicle, and that could be a violation right there. Okay,
that is a violation. Yeah.
And the registered owner of that plate also had warrants for her arrest. Okay, so that's what they're dealing with right now. So let's go ahead and get this started.
On May 8, 2023, officers in Ohio began an investigation of a blue Chevy Impala parked at a Circle K gas station. Earlier, an officer on patrol ran the vehicle's license plate, discovering the license plate belonged to a different vehicle. Officers were advised the person registered to the license plate also had an active warrant.
They covered the front.
The vehicle's VIN was partially covered by paperwork sitting on the dashboard as a female staff member watched officers from the window.
Okay, let me try to get past this. Let me stop you for a second. So the license plate didn't belong to the vehicle. Okay, that's one violation. The registered owner had active warrants associated with her name. That's two things that they got to investigate. And the third one is the VIN was partially covered by some piece of paper or whatever it was in the car. So that's three things, Corey, that the officers have to investigate.
Yep.
Some people will say, well, don't these officers have anything better to do? Why are they going around running license plates of cars parked in the parking lot at a gas station?
Good question.
People need to understand that's just one small part of an officer's job. Their job is to find crime, not just respond to crime, but define crime. Reason why I would run license plate, Corey, when I was an officer, is there could be millions of reasons why. I could be doing an investigation of something. I could just randomly run a plate because maybe I want to see if that vehicle is stolen. Sometimes stolen vehicles have a certain look to them. You know what I'm saying? And running a plate, I can determine if it's stolen or not. I don't even have to get out of the car. Okay. Right. Anything. It could be a suspicious vehicle. Maybe somebody called it in as a suspicious vehicle, or I think it's a suspicious vehicle. I'm gonna run that plate. That's just common things right there. Running that plate to see if it's stolen. Okay.
Yeah, you again, that's the difference between California and here in the state of Virginia, where you have to have probable cause to run a license plate. But all those extra things you're saying, I mean, if I see suspicious activity, something that looks out of the norm, then yeah, I can articulate why I ran that plate. We have LPRs on the back of our vehicles, which are license plate readers. And, reason why they're there, and I'm not justifying I don't even know what the reason, how they came across this lady in her vehicle, but, maybe they could have been on a special assignment. They've had a lot of reported stolen vehicles. And like Mike said, one of the things police officers do is crime prevention, right? And so, if your car is stolen, wouldn't you want the police out there trying to find your vehicle? Or somebody stole your license plates off your car and put them on their car because they're too lazy to get their car registered. It's just easy for them to go to the car park next to them and take their tags and put it on. Wouldn't you want the police out here trying to find your license plate tags? Well, this is what we do. You get a lot of complaints from the citizens. Hey, we need to knock down the car theft or license plate theft, whatever the case may be. So you come up with these little special task force, and this is probably what these guys are doing. I don't know. Don't hold me to that, but I'm just speculating reason how they probably came across this vehicle. And so check with your local authorities.
Yeah. And it, like you said, it can be different from state to state. So always check, you can always check your local vehicle code laws, okay, in your state to see what you can and can't do or what you're supposed to have. Okay, here we go. Now these officers have three things they got to look at. Okay, we already talked about that. Let's continue.
The person registered to the license plate also had an active warrant.
They covered the front.
The vehicle's VIN was partially covered by paperwork sitting on the dashboard as a female staff member watched officers from the window.
Excuse me. Hey, how are you? My name's Aaron. You wouldn't happen to know this car that is, would you? Is it your car? What's your name? What's your name? Okay. The plates are coming back to a different car. You know something about that? No? How long you had that car?
Not like 3 months.
What's that?
3 months. I bought it for somebody.
Okay, so the plates are coming back to a different car where we run the plates and everything. The plates that are on it come back to Chevy Equinox. Obviously, that's not an Equinox. And the plates are expired as of last year.
I got to call the person and see why it doesn't say that.
But do you mind moving that piece of paper so I can verify the VIN on that car?
Oh, you got to give me one more. I got to take the phone.
All right, the VIN's partially covered up, but the first three don't match the VIN that's on the plate. I'm just speaking with a clerk inside here.
I hate these doggone commercials.
Mind talking about the car real quick? What's that? So I'll talk to you out here so your business not out here. Come over here, please. Just take your hand out of your pocket while we're talking. So another officer drove by. Just take your hand out of your pocket, please. Appreciate it. Another officer drove by. Ran the plate. Plate comes back to 2014 Chevy Equinox. Yes. Do you have any weapons in it? No. Do you mind if I pat you down real quick? Yeah. Okay. That way you can put your hand in your pocket. You're good. So
all right, let's pause it right there, Corey. I'm sorry, folks. It's just so many things that come to mind. I want to explain why this is happening right now. Now, when he first went in there, They apparently didn't know
Who-
what the registered owner of the car looked like. Okay, now some states are different than others. Some states, when you can pull the registered owner up on the car in the computer in your car, and you can actually see a picture of the registered owner. I don't know if they did that. I don't know if they knew that, but they came in the store and asked her if she knew who owned that vehicle. She volunteered the information that, yes, that's my vehicle. So now they have the vehicle that they have to investigate, and they have the registered owner, or at least the person who is claiming responsibility for the car. Can they investigate and talk to her about what they're seeing in the car? Absolutely. Okay, that's legal. He's telling her to take her hands out of her pockets. Corey, as you know, that's very common. The reason why, because people sometimes have guns in their pocket or weapons in their pocket. You don't want her to suddenly pull something out on you when she had her hands in her pocket. So we're telling you to take your hands out of your pockets because we haven't searched you, obviously. We don't know if you have any weapons in there. So we want you to keep your hands out of your pockets so that you're not able to pull something out on us. If you refuse to do that, then I'm going to pat you down the outside of your pockets. I'm going to pat you down to make sure you don't have anything that feels like a weapon that you can pull out on me. Okay. And then once I do that, okay, you can put your hands back in your pockets. I'm fine with that. That's what's going on here. So he's not just being a knucklehead by harassing her by saying, take your hands out of your pockets. There's actually an officer safety issue with that. So people need to understand that.
Yep. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Back to a 2014 Chevy Equinox. Okay, that's not an Equinox, that's a Chevy Impala. The license plates are expired as of last July. Okay, so we just want to verify the registration on the vehicle. Well, you got a piece of paper there on the VIN that's half covered up. Do you have your ID on you first?
No, I didn't bring it because I'm literally at work.
Good. Okay. We're not trying to cause you any problems.
Another red flag.
There were plates that aren't matching. We just want to verify make sure your car's not stolen or anything like that. You don't have. You know, there's nothing that person's going to be able to do right now. What's your social?
I don't know my social about I don't have nothing on me.
How old are you?
No social, no ID. You see
Right.
how things are just adding up, that now we got to start really digging into this. Now we already know, like Jesus love you see it. You can already tell she's about to be a problem.
And not only that, she's actually giving you more reason to keep finding out stuff about her. Do police have a right to detain her right now?
Yes.
They're dealing with her because they're dealing with her car. So yeah, okay. She said that's her car. There's some violations with her car, parked or occupied or not, doesn't matter, folks. That's her car. We're not talking about a car that's in a private driveway in her home. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about a car that's it's on private property, but it's private property that's open to the public. Okay. Just like a mall parking lot or something like that.
Right.
She volunteered information that she's the owner of the car. So I'm going to deal with you and explain to you the issues with this car. Okay. So they already got it right there. All right. She don't have no identification. Well, why don't you have any identification? Just because you at work, it's not a reason for you not to have identification. You drove here, didn't you?
And
right?
that could be another citation. You operate a motor vehicle without a valid license.
Yeah, well, I
It's
wouldn't,
your car.
I wouldn't even think for that, but under these circumstances. But nonetheless, it's definitely a red flag that you don't have ID, and you're not giving me that's not a reason not to have ID. It sounds like you just don't carry your ID with you when you're supposed to. So that's a red flag. Okay.
And to call the previous owner who sold you the car, it's no longer that previous owner's responsibility. You assume now, I'm assuming the title was signed over to her, or wherever she bought the car from. She has possession of the car title. Now you assume all responsibilities of that vehicle. You're sitting in that driver's seat. You assume the responsibilities of everything with that vehicle.
Yeah. And like I say, even though she was in the store, she volunteered the information that, yeah, I'm the owner of that car.
Right.
Now, like I said before, though, Corey, we don't know if these officers already knew what the registered owner looked like, and maybe they knew she was the registered owner when they contacted her. I don't think so, because it doesn't sound like they're speaking that way. You know what I'm saying? Now, they may not be telling her that there's warrants associated with the registered owner right now, because they don't want to fire her up any more than she already is. Right. They're not ready to go there yet. They still want to make sure we handle this car. And once we handle the car and we have properly identified you through some sort of documentation, okay, then we'll move to the warrant.
So up to this point, viewers, do you think that the officers are acting appropriately as what a reasonable officer would do, or do you think they're overreaching? What do you say? Leave us a comment down below. Go ahead, Mike.
Tone makes a good comment. Wouldn't it fall back on the previous owner if they didn't file a release of liability? Yeah, it might. I don't know. Right now, Tone, she's the owner of that vehicle for all intents and purposes as of right now, as far as dealing with this vehicle. She said it was her car. So she's the one that these officers are going to have to deal with this car. Whatever issues are going on with this car, she's in control of the car. She's responsible for the car. So therefore, she is the one we're dealing with. Okay.
And yeah, I would agree with you, Jesus Lovey. So far, I don't have a problem with these officers doing. And that's interesting. You said that, Tone, release of liability. We don't have anything. I should say, I don't know if any new laws have changed since I left the force. But while I was there, we didn't have anything like that. When you sold that vehicle, if it was a private sale and you sold that vehicle to another individual, then once you got that title signed over, that is now your vehicle. And once you go to is now up to you, the new owner, to go to DMV, which is Department of Motor Vehicles here, and to go and make sure that vehicle is properly registered. But it's interesting you say that the previous owner in California can still hold some liability to that car, even after it's sold. Does that sound right, Mike?
If they can show proof that they sold the vehicle, then that's different. They release their liability. But like you said, just like Virginia, it sounds like the new owner, it's on them to go to DMV and re-register the car in their name. The owner signs a release of liability form, and the new owner takes that down to DMV and processes it, basically. Gotcha. Which is kind of ate up, because you still relying a lot on that new owner to take care of stuff.
Right.
There's this part, and forgive me if my memory is bad, because it's been a while since I've sold a car like that, but there is a portion of the form that you take down to DMV, I think, or you mail in or something like that. You can mail it in, and it shows that you sold the car. You know what I'm saying? And Tone, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know something better on how that process works. But in this video, for all intents and purposes, she is responsible for the vehicle, and she is the one that these officers have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? Right. As far as just having a person to contact regarding the vehicle, not to mention she might have some warrants here, and they have to confirm that. Meanwhile, they can detain her and conduct the investigation. Officers got 10 hours on the job, on a shift. Got to do something in those 10 hours. Okay, this is something that officers do. Okay, so people need to look at that. Here we go.
Where's the keys to the car? Are you able to move that piece of paper so I can see the VIN?
Yeah, I have to go in the driver's office.
Okay. Thank you.
Keep in mind, they're not
Officers
searching the
found suspect's
vehicle.
name and details, revealing that she had multiple warrants for her arrest and no driver's license.
And she has no license.
So looking
Okay.
at the VIN of the car, it obviously comes back to 2007 Impala, which is what it is. Hasn't been registered since 2021. All right, it's a long time ago. The plates
So,
that's on it is
over
already
2 years, she been riding dirty.
Yeah.
okay. I can't.
Cannot do that.
I can't.
Let's rewind that for a second. Let's play it again.
All right. So looking at the VIN of the car, it obviously comes back to 2007 Impala, which is what it is. Hasn't been registered since 2021. All right. It's a long time ago. The plates that's on it, as I already explained, don't belong to that car, so I'm towing the car. Okay.
Can't do that though, because the car not moving.
Let's pause it right there. So, Court, can he tow the car?
Yeah.
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 In the state of California, again, in the state of California, if your vehicle registration is expired, I believe it's more than 6 months, we can tow your car. Okay? We can tow your car. If your vehicle registration is expired more than 6 months, it used to be 3. They changed that to 6. Okay? Now, if it's something different today, somebody let me know. But when I was an officer, if your registration is expired more than 6 months, we could actually not just give you a ticket for expired registration. We could tow your car, okay, because your registration is expired. Unregistered vehicle on the roadway, okay, or in a parking lot, wherever it is that's open to the public, okay. We can tow your car. Keep that in mind. Now, she seems to think you can't. Clearly, she doesn't know because somebody convinced her that they can't tow the car. Where is she getting this information from? I don't know. Nonetheless, folks, if you come across that and you believe that you can't tow the car, don't try to stop these officers from doing what they said they're going to do, okay? They're going to tow that car. If you feel that they're wrong, this is not the time to put up a fight. Anything,
No.
Corey?
No, it's not. And as we say, the right way to do is handle it in court. If they're wrong, sue them, and get the city to reimburse you for improperly impounding your vehicle, and handle it that way. But to do what she's getting ready to do is uncalled for.
Okay, here we go. Forgive my dog, folks.
I can do that. I can't do that. Those plates don't come back to that vehicle.
You cannot do that.
You also
You cannot do that. You cannot do that. I was not driving. It was not moving. None of that. You can't do that.
listen. No, stop.
I'm not touching you. I'm not going.
Listen, you also have.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me. See, look at it. Look at it. You see it, right? No, I'm not about to put my camera on. I'm about to put my camera
You
on.
can put your camera on, but come over here and talk. I'm gonna explain some stuff.
No, y'all cannot do that. Y'all cannot do that. Y'all cannot do that. No.
I'm gonna explain some stuff.
No, y'all cannot.
Get away from the door. Come over.
Sorry.
Over
Now-
this way so people can get in the door.
Y'all cannot do that.
Okay, come over this way so people can get into the door,
I need to
please.
get into my job.
No, stop. Miss Rosser, please don't make the situations worse. This gentleman's trying to get in the door. Come on.
All right, for our viewers, is she making this situation worse?
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
now it's almost like that home base type thing, Mike. Now, just get inside the store, you can't do nothing to me.
The
Right.
officers are telling her they're going to tow the car. She's going to say, no, you can't do that. Okay. We don't have time to argue with you about whether or not I'm going to tow the car. I'm not asking you if I'm going to tow the car. I'm telling you, I'm going to tow your car. Okay. So at that point, it's over. You know, you're not in control there. The officers are. Okay. Well, like it or not, you're not in control there. The officers are. Now you're starting to argue. You can't touch me. Keep in mind, they didn't even have time to say anything about warrants yet.
Right. They still haven't
Okay.
mentioned it.
So, which is something that I would say, Corey, if there's something that could have been better with this situation as far as how the officers handle it is I would have told her at that point, I would have told her up front, you also have some warrants, some arrest warrants, and you're being detained. I would have said that out loud, clearly up front. What say you?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I would never let her try to get to that door. I'd have let her know straight up front in the very beginning. While once we got the VIN number and able to verify, like, hey, right now you're gonna be detained because right now you have three outstanding warrants. Right now you're gonna be detained until we can verify these warrants are still valid. And went on ahead and put her in handcuffs. But I think that that if I had to say anything negative thus far about them, that would probably been it. You get the citizen in handcuffs as quick as possible to prevent any fallout like you're about to see here, and create a bigger scene than necessary.
And further on that, I would say that out loud, direct and up front, so that the courts can see. No, she should have known that she was being detained.
Yeah.
Because the officer told her. You know what I'm saying? She should have known that. So when she continues to fight and resist, right now, is she resisting, folks? Yep, absolutely. She sure is.
Absolutely.
Okay? That way.
The think that she didn't know none of this stuff. The think that she didn't know any of these things is asinine. She's been riding dirty since she bought the car. It sounds like
she probably knew she had the warrants too. So that's
right. Yeah, she knew she had the warrants exactly. Mm-hmm. And now you're wrong. Now let's create a scene. Right. I'm wrong. So now let's create a scene so it makes it look like the officers are in the wrong because I ain't do nothing. Car was sitting, it wasn't moving. Why are you messing with me? I ain't do nothing. Well, you did do something. You've been riding dirty. You got 3 warrants out for your arrest. You've been busy.
Right. You got no license. So right. I know you drove to work and you've probably been driving that car for a while. Okay. So don't sit there and act like these officers can't do that and I'm not going with the program. You dirty. So why bother fighting and making the situation worse? Don't do this, folks. Don't do this. Let them, if they're going to tow your car, they're going to tow your car. Okay. If they need you to stay put, you need to stay put. Okay. This officer tried to say something about the warrants, but when she started mouthing off saying, no, you can't do that. And I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that. He never quite got it out. You know what I'm saying? But he should have. You should have got that out. You have some warrants. You are being detained right now until we can confirm these warrants. Period. Let's keep it going.
No, we're not gonna put your business out in the middle of the store. You're already trading insurance. Come out here so this gentleman can get outside. Miss Rosser, walk over here so this gentleman can get out.
Y'all put me on my job.
Miss Rosser, please step over here so I can speak to you about this vehicle. These guys are trying to get into the store.
No, y'all are in the wrong. I know y'all in the wrong.
I already explained to you what's going on with this car. Step over this way, please.
It's like she being defiant for no reason. Yeah, I don't even understand why she being defiant.
Because she didn't do nothing wrong. Like she said, they came and pulled her out of her job, Mike. They came and pulled her out of her job. She ain't do nothing. She ain't do nothing. The car's not moving, so why are you bothering me?
They're continually telling her to stop. Don't go into the store. We need you over here. You also got some warrants, you know what I'm saying? But look, she's still steadily trying to get back into the store. What does she think is going to happen at this point? Does she think these officers just going to say, okay, we're going to walk away and leave you alone? That's not going to happen, folks.
It doesn't happen that way. Like we said last week, it does not happen that way. It's not going to go that way. Just because you get inside the store, it doesn't happen. Because who knows what maybe she has a weapon inside that store behind the counter.
Hey, you don't possible.
You don't know, right? So you don't want to cause a scene inside the place of business. People are in there trying to conduct business. You don't want to bring that inside the store. Let's handle it outside. Well, apparently she doesn't want to do it.
So, viewers, what would you do in this situation? If you're the officer right now in this situation, this person you're dealing with, she has 3 warrants, okay, and you have the issues with the vehicle that you have to deal with. Are you going to let her just walk away? You're going to let her go back into the store? Okay. Do you understand why these officers want to keep her out of the store and want to deal with her over on the side by the car?
Yeah.
What say you?
Yeah. I mean, let's just keep it going.
All right, let's
this
keep it
this is about to get exciting here, I think.
All right, here we go.
No, come on. We're creating a show. Stop. Stop. People are trying to get into the store. Stop, Miss Officer. Please stop. Come on. Stop. Stop.
Whatever y'all can say to me, y'all say it on the camera.
Stop. We're recording it too. Stop.
Get off my hands.
You didn't.
Now just put me in handcuffs, Crystal. Now.
Yep. Now she trying to give a play-by-play with whoever.
Right, on her cell phone.
Right.
Stop.
Now they taking my phone. Now they taking my phone. They got my phone.
Stop.
They got my phone.
Stop.
They put me in handcuffs.
Can you get covered? Right. Stop.
You see this Melissa, right? No.
Stop.
No, y'all.
Stop
I
resisting.
need you to report it. Because they put me on my job. And I wouldn't even do it.
Stop.
You see this, right?
Now we're going back. We'll explain it to you in a second as soon as we get her handled. Let's go.
You're wrong.
Stop.
No, y'all not wrong. You're off of me.
Come on, man.
You're off of me, bro.
Stop.
No,
Stay
y'all
on.
not wrong. Y'all not wrong. You're off of me.
Come on. Stop.
Off of
Come
me,
on.
man.
Stop.
You're off of me. You're off of me because I didn't put my hands
So
on
who's
you.
doing too much, Mike?
I'm not doing nothing to you.
If you would have
I'm
just,
not doing
you would
nothing
have
to
just
you.
cooperated and walked
I
over.
know. I told y'all could.
What our viewers need to understand is she's actually resisting right now. That's what resisting looks like. It's not always just you throwing blows or something.
Right.
This is resisting. She's not trying to walk and go where they want her to go. Even after she's handcuffed, she's still trying to push away from them and trying not to go where they want her to go. Folks, especially when you got those handcuffs on, you are not in control of this situation. You don't get to call the shots. And people need to understand that. As much as they don't like the police, once they're doing certain things to keep yourself from getting hurt or worse, it is always best to, okay, what do you need me to do? Okay, if you need me to be handcuffed, fine. Here's my hands. Where you need me to stand. It's your time to be submissive at this moment. Okay, if you don't agree with what they're doing, the time to handle that is later. When
And I think that's the problem right there when you say the word submissive, Mike. It's like you're giving up your control to an authoritarian type police state, as a lot of these guys out here will call it, these so-called police haters who want to be defined themselves and not follow the rule of law. These officers gave her plenty of opportunities to be compliant. Hey, just stay over here. Hey, just talk to us. But she chose not to. Now at this point, it's her choice. So whatever animosity or anger you had toward police, that goes out the window. It's clearly on her now. She dictated how this interaction was going to go. Right.
Yeah, she dictated, all right. She dictated how these officers are going to respond to her.
Right.
That's what she dictated. You know what I'm saying? And she's still dictating that. Here we go. Oh, go ahead, Corey. I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying she's not helping the situation. And I mean, like you're really now putting the icing on the cake for me that you really are this person I'm looking for, and you really are displaying that you're the guilty one.
Yeah.
Right. What happened? We'll get to that part in a second. But what would happen if she did utilize the acronym of CALM? We'll tie that in here in a few minutes. But go ahead, Mike.
All right, here we go.
To be on the cameras, in here on the cameras. I'm not going nowhere. Talk to me right here. We don't gotta go outside. We don't gotta go outside. We don't gotta go outside. Y'all can talk to me on the cameras. I'm right here. Say what y'all got to say. I'm right here. Say what y'all got to say. I'm right here. Say what y'all got to say. You said what? Yeah. Calm down. You know, they can talk to you on the camera. They doing the most.
Oh, wait a minute. Somebody telling her to calm down?
Right. They got her cell phone, which is cool. Maybe this lady can talk some sense into her.
But and hold that right there, Mike. That's something a lot of times when I used to have folks act like this on the side of the road, and it's crazy how they would get a girlfriend or their parents on the phone, and you would hear them. They'll put them on speaker, and sometimes I would talk to them, and they would just tell them, shut your mouth, do what the officer tell you to do. Now, how is that? Now, all you police haters out there that have all these negative things to say, what do you say about their loved ones who telling them, their loved ones, to shut your mouth and do what the police officer is telling you to do? Don't make it worse than it already is. All right? Don't worry about it. We'll get you bail money. We'll be down there. Just go along. But no, she still wants to show her hind parts. You see, yeah, Mike and I will be the first one to tell you the police officer is wrong. We had no problem speaking up against that. All right, because right is right and wrong is wrong. You treat people how you want to be treated, and having that position of authority like that and wearing that badge, it's a lot of responsibility that goes with that, and you must treat people appropriately. But at the same time, and I agree with these officers doing thus far, but you as a citizen, you got a role to play too, right? You want me to be a certain way, I expect you to be a certain way as the citizen, right? I'm not going to do anything to you that I wouldn't want you to do to me. I don't want to hurt you. And I'm not going to hurt you. And I don't want you to hurt me. And so it's got to be, hey, all right, you got me. Like you said, Mike, you got me. We're not going to argue and fight here. We'll do it in court. And if you got a solid case, if you feel that the police officers are wrong, like I told you last week, there are plenty of Benjamin Crumps out there, attorney types, that would love to take your case on if those officers are wrong. So wouldn't it be nice for you to be alive, to be able to fight that in court, and then you reap the benefits of that money versus everybody else in your family that's going to split it up and you don't get nothing? I mean, come on.
Now, for me, the only time, them letting her talk to whoever this is on her phone, in my opinion, that's a form of de-escalation. Okay. That's when I would use 100%. That is let her talk to somebody she knows that can hear what's going on. Maybe this person on the phone can calm her down and convince her to go with the program. So this is a form of de-escalation, folks, like whether they realize it or not. They're letting her, they don't have to do this, okay? But this is a form of de-escalation that they're letting her talk to somebody she knows on the phone, okay? She has made up her mind, and she's being defiant, Corey, for I don't even understand why. It's almost like she just wants to not go to program. There's no reason. She just don't want to go to program.
She just don't want to go. She's not even listening to the people on her family on the phone. So
right. She ain't even listening to them.
So
but I applaud the efforts of the officers for trying to de-escalate. They're continuing to try to de-escalate, trying to tell her and convince her and talk to her calmly. You know what I'm saying? But there comes a time as an officer, you got to make things happen. Okay. And sometimes that requires more than you asking. Okay. Let's continue.
They touching on me, all types of stuff. No, y'all don't supposed to do that, though. Y'all don't supposed to do that, though.
Who's that?
They don't supposed to do this. They didn't win in my pocket, all types of stuff. Like, what? They're not supposed to do that. You're not supposed to do that.
Let's walk over to the car so now I can explain to you some stuff.
No,
you're not supposed to go in my pockets.
No. We are here, Vic. We're on camera. I'm on these cameras. I'm trying to tell these cameras. No.
We're trying to explain yourself.
Well, y'all could go to the car, check for warrants, then y'all don't want me to do, y'all can take.
Well, let's go. Okay.
Go check them out right here.
I did.
Go check them out
I did
right
check
here.
them. One's through Chicago, and the other is through Mayfield Heights.
Okay, well, you could call
In
me
the,
if
in,
you want me.
in the past, I'm not saying this is what's happening. In the past, those agencies usually don't come pick up. This
Exactly.
is a format, okay. And then if that's the case, you'll be out of handcuffs and you'll be on your way, okay?
I'm not gonna be on my way because y'all are wrong. Y'all are wrong. None of this is supposed to happen because I'm not in my car. I'm at work. Y'all pulled me up out of my job for a parked car.
A car that those plates don't belong to. I didn't explain it to you.
Car. No, that's wrong. That's
Okay, all
wrong.
right, well,
We don't have time to argue with you that something that should be argued in court. Okay.
okay, Sean Pro wants you. Let's go to the car.
Give me my phone. Put it in my hand.
How about I put it in your pocket? I'm not gonna put it in your hand, I'll put it in your pocket. Let's go. It's gonna fall out. You don't have any weapons on you. Nothing else. This roster that we don't know about. Go ahead, take a seat.
Give me my phone.
You're not gonna have your phone while you're in the back seat detained.
Wait, what?
You're not gonna have your.
Wait, what?
I said you're not gonna have your
No,
phone
because
while
I
you're in
need
the
to
back
call and
seat.
let somebody know.
Okay, we'll let somebody know when you get a chance. Get your feet in the car.
No.
Get your
No.
Stop. Get your feet in the car. Might be able to do that over at Sean.
No, I
But the
can't.
quicker that we get going, the
Get
quicker
one
you
phone
put
call and I'm not about to know. I need to call to make sure my kids are good. No.
Keep in mind, folks, that's this officer style. He's not trying to get into a physical confrontation if he doesn't want to. But there are some officers who would have dragged her in that back seat by now. So they wouldn't have stood there and waited an hour for you to make up your mind. Once you are arrested, you are in the control of that officer. Even before that, once you're stopped, you're in control of that officer. Okay. Especially at this point, she understands that she has a warrant and she's being arrested for those warrants. It's clear right now. So her defiance right now is even more troubling because it doesn't make sense. Like you said, Corey, you say all the time, the jig is up. You got caught. Okay. Let's just go with the program and let's get it on. No, when you are in custody, I can decide what possessions you have. Okay. He asked her if she had warrants or weapons on her. I didn't. Maybe he did. I didn't see it. But we were supposed to search the people before we put you in a car. We got to search you. You're under arrest. We can go in your pockets now.
Yeah.
Okay. We search you to make sure you don't have anything on you that's going to hurt us before we put you in that car. If we don't want you to have your cell phone, guess what? You don't get your cell phone.
Like Tone just said, you can't answer your cell phone no way. You can't. That's what you need your cell phone for.
Right. Exactly.
And to Jesus loves you. Says, why are these cops putting up with this? Well, like you said, but Mike, to add on to what you said, I think because the climate in which we are living in now, and everybody wants to sue the cops and throw police under the bus for doing their job. You're going to be more standoffish. Like this interaction here should not have lasted this long. Right.
Yeah.
It should not have lasted as long. Once, and that goes back to what you said earlier, Mike, is, hey, now I identify that this is the owner of the vehicle. That plate doesn't belong to her. Now I know she has warrants. Boom. I'm going to right up front let you know these warrants. You have active warrants, and I'm going to detain you at this point. And go ahead and put her in cuffs, and go ahead and then put her in the back of the car. And not let it, drag on like that. But because of the atmosphere in which we're living in now, and how, the police are in this limelight now, and being, critiqued on everything that they do, they're more standoffish and not being, the aggressor, if you will. And that may be a good point. But again, why are you dragging this all out? If our viewers, if you were the officers, how long would you have done it? Would you done this the way the officers done it? Or would you have gone ahead and got her, detained and placed in the vehicle right away, so you don't have to go through any of this.
And what would you have done in this situation, folks? If she got her feet out the car, you gotta process her, you gotta get your paperwork done, you got stuff to do involving this case. Okay, you have to book her in the jail, you have to get her to the jail. Okay, all that hopefully before the end of your shift. You don't have time to sit here very long and wait for her to decide that she wants to go ahead and put her feet in the car. Okay, some officers would went to the other side and they would have dragged her in the car, because if you're gonna make me get physical on you, it's not going to be pretty. Okay, right. So that's why we want you to go ahead and just follow our commands and do what we're telling you to do. For some reason, Corey, she just doesn't even want to get in the car.
Now watch it. Keep playing it.
All right.
Where are your kids at? Give me my phone. No, man. Give me my phone, man. Give me my phone. No, let offer me give me my phone. Give me my phone. No, give me my phone. No, give me my phone.
Get your feet in the car.
No, give me my phone.
Put your feet in the car.
Give me my phone. No, I need to make sure my kid's good. Give me my phone. I'm not about to waste one phone call when I have two people to go out. No, give me my phone.
Well, maybe they'll be more than willing to do that. I don't know exactly what Sean's for. You may be just one of there going to be out of the way.
Give me my phone.
Put your feet in the car.
No, give me my phone. I need to call to make sure my kid's good. Give me my phone.
Put your feet in the car.
No, I need to call to make sure my kid's good. My phone, man. No, don't touch me, because I'm touching you.
Watch your feet. Stop. You're cool.
You want to me? Get after me.
Stop. You have to go to this car.
No,
this is the easy way. Come on, stop. Come on. Stop. You need to stop. You need to stop. You need to stop.
It's my fault.
You need to stop.
It's my fault.
You need to stop.
It's my fault. I stop when I get my phone.
She said, "I'll stop when I get my phone." Like Delando said, what you gonna do with that phone, man?
Well, not only that, look, and I'm being critical here, because I'm trying to look good for the community that will say, where they didn't give her a chance to do this or whatever. Maybe if I would explain to her, look, you can't have your phone because you are in custody and I have to take all your belongings and your property and I'll put it right up here on this front seat until we get to the jail, and I'm gonna log it into your property. Okay. Maybe if they went on and tried to explain that aspect, maybe that would have made a difference. I don't know. Well, but at some point, they're gonna have to get physical with you. You can't sit here and, play high school games or start wrestling with you.
Well, and that's what you can't use it. I mean, yeah, it's an officer safety thing. Yeah, I know, that certain community doesn't like hearing those words, officer safety, but there have been reports out that we would get to be on alert for single shot cell phones. They turn their cell phones into a single shot caliber weapon, and so you don't know. I mean, it can be a weapon. She could have something in the casing to pick the lock. You don't know. You don't want them to have any type of possessions on them while they're in the back seat of that vehicle.
How about she could call somebody to come try to take her out of the car, somebody to ambush you, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. It really don't matter. The point is you're under arrest. All your belongings, I am responsible for. Okay? So I'm going to take all of your belongings, unless it's something that I feel is okay for you to have in your pocket or something. Okay? Usually that's money. If you got some kind of cash on you and I'm transporting you somewhere, I won't take your money. You keep your money in your pocket, because I don't want to have to account for it. It's your money. It's in your pocket. You ain't gonna pull a dollar bill out and cut me in the neck. Okay. But a cell phone, I'm taking that. And I'm putting it up on my front seat. All your stuff like that, I'm putting it on the front seat. And when I get to the jail, you got to give all your stuff to the jail anyway. Okay, you're not going to be able to maintain possession of any of that stuff, including your
you
phone.
ain't keeping no cell phone in lockup, and to carry on like this. I mean, again, for what? You like you said, the jig is up. You know you were busted. You're trying to prolong your time to go into lockup. What is all this necessary? Why is all this necessary? It's not.
I'm gonna stick my legs out and you can't close the door. I'm gonna stick my legs out the other side. It's silly. You being immature at this point. You be a big girl. You got arrested. Get in the car. Let's get this on. Let's go to the jail. Get you booked.
You know how it works. You know how it works. You know, she knows whether or not they're gonna keep her or she'll be out in a couple hours. You know how it works. It's not you're a freaking flyer to lock up. It sounds like you got 3 additional warrants out there, so you're not a stranger to crime, right? So she knows how it works. She knows she'll be out. Why? What's the need of going through all this? So I don't know, man.
Here we go. It's almost finished.
Stop. Get your feet in the car. Stop. Sit up.
Kill me if you want to.
Stop.
Kill me if you want to.
Stop. No, nobody's doing any of that.
No, I need my phone.
Put your foot in the car. Stop. You're not making any better.
At this point, she's just being childish.
Stop.
You're right.
Get your foot out of the way.
Get my phone. I need to call my kids.
Stop. Stop.
Give me my phone.
Stop. Put your foot in the car.
I need my phone.
Your phone's gonna be
Break
gone.
my wrist if you want to.
We're not breaking anything, but you need to stop. You gotta
Stop
I need my
resisting.
phone.
You gotta move your
No, I need my
you gotta
phone.
move your foot.
No, I need my phone.
Relax your leg.
No, I need my phone.
Stop.
No, I need my phone.
Alice, so we can't close the doors.
I need my phone. I need my phone.
Relax your leg.
I need my phone. No. I need my phone.
Listen.
Relax your leg.
Unfortunately, we can't do that, Jesus love. He says slam the door on her foot. See how she like that. Now here come the crocodile tears.
Stop.
I need to call my kids now. No.
Stop. Put your foot in the car.
No, I need to call my kids now. No, I'm not going until I call my kids. No, I need to get a phone call now.
No,
I need a phone call
It doesn't
now.
work that way. We don't let people call when they're in custody. It doesn't work that way.
I wasn't in custody at first. No, I'm in custody. I need to make sure my kids good.
Not until you're in the jail. You don't decide how this goes. We do it.
Well,
Okay? So
y'all
get
be
your
back
foot in
and
the car.
forth with this.
You're going to go to jail for resisting arrest.
Yeah, there are restraints, Tone, that you can use. We had restraints for disorderly people that we could use for their legs, and we'll wrap it around their legs, especially if they're kicking and everything. And it's just basically some rope that we would use to tie around their feet and to get them in the car. Yeah, there are things and that's why one thing, Mike, I was surprised that they didn't do that. He used to call it hog time up and put them in there. But I don't know. I mean, they were just they were being very standoffish in my opinion. The police officer were. What you say, you Mike?
Yeah, we had something called the RAP, Tone. You might have heard that out in California, but it was basically a device where we had to sit you down on the ground, and we had to start with your legs, and it basically wrapped you up like a burrito, okay, but in a seated position. You ended up in a seated position to where we can carry you easier inside this burrito style device. Okay, and we just set you in the car. Okay, but you'd be sitting with your legs across the seat in this particular device. But in this situation, they would have to get her out if they had a wrap. I don't know if they had that, And not all departments have something like that. If they had something like that, they would have to pull her out of the car and sit her on the ground and get her in the position to where she would have to be able to be wrapped like that. Which the way she's kicking, Corey, I would have something like that. I would have had to, somebody would have had to grab her feet and hold them down.
Oh yeah.
For starters, okay. Hold her upper torso so she ain't twisted and turning too much, and before them for them to be able to wrap her legs up in a wrap like that. But yeah, we had something like that, John. Yep. All right, it's almost finished here. Let's go ahead and finish it off.
ASAP. So let me make sure my kids.
What time are you supposed to work till? So you're working until after you're working, right? So
I need to make sure my kids. No, I don't. I have now. I have now to
get my kids. You're wasting your time is what you're doing.
I have now to get my kids.
Go ahead and get in the car.
No, I need
it's
to
not going to change
kids.
anything.
I need to find my kids.
Your requests are not going to be granted at this point because you don't make the decisions here, okay? So get your foot in the car.
Y'all can do whatever you got to do. I need to find my kids now. I need to make sure my kids are good.
Put your foot. She wants to. She don't lose no headache. They're not.
That's why she's being detained because she has warrants.
$1,200 bond.
Charged with resisting arrest. In court, the suspect pleaded not guilty to resisting arrest. In recent proceedings, the suspect failed to appear in court.
And after all that,
she didn't show up in court.
Guess what?
She probably had another warrant.
There you go. She got 4. Well, I don't know if she still hasn't been picked up yet. I'm sure she has, but then you have four warrants floating out there, Mike.
Right.
All for what? This is unnecessary, right?
It really was. Hold on. Let me.
I got you.
Let me stop this here. Okay.
Yeah, I think she was way off on this. She brought this all on herself. I don't know how you can justify what she was doing with that. She was in the right for anything.
Yeah, these officers did a ton of de-escalation here, trying to calmly explain it. The only thing, maybe again, I'm being very critical here, but if she kept talking about her kids. Well, I want to make sure your kid's okay too, as an officer. Okay, so can I call you kids for you? Can I call somebody else, a family member who can call your kids for you? Okay. I need to get you to the jail and booked. So I don't have time to sit here while you just hold a conversation on the phone. You know what I'm saying? Where are your kids right now? Maybe you investigate that more just to make her feel okay. Number one. And number two, well, you want to make sure the kids are all right.
Yeah, furthermore,
they're not there, but
furthermore, the lady that was on the phone trying to calm her down, clearly she knows what's going on now. She's being arrested.
That's true.
I'm sure now that friend or family member, whoever, will go and see that her kids will be all right.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. You're right.
Yeah, I mean, so as an officer there, no. And clearly they are where they are. They're okay. They know that there's probably somebody else that can come and tend to her children if necessary. But at this point, you do all this hollering and screaming because you want your cell phone. That's just unnecessary. Like I used to tell my boys all the time, you don't do it. If you ever got stopped, you just stay there. If you can call me. We'll deal with it in court. That's how we gonna handle it. We're gonna deal with it in court. If you're wrong, you're gonna stay wrong. If they're wrong, you just keep doing what they tell you to do, and we'll argue it in court. We're not gonna fight on the side of the road because it doesn't end well. We all know it doesn't end well, right? For the officer, it may not end well, or for the citizen, it may not end well. But nobody should be getting hurt. That's the bottom line.
Right. That's the real point right there. Comply. You know what I'm saying? putting up a fight for your cell phone is ridiculous. Clearly, there's something more going on with her. She probably got maybe some mental health issue, maybe some
She
trauma.
just didn't want to go to jail.
Yeah, maybe she got some trauma in her life or something like that. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is she was under arrest. She was lawfully under arrest. She had a right. They had a right to do what they did. These officers handled this situation, in my opinion, they handled it all right. You know what I'm saying? They were very patient with her. Okay. Because like I said, you might get that officer who ain't gonna sit there and talk with you like that, but so long. They're gonna start off talking to you, but everybody's patience is on they got a different threshold. So if I need you to get in the car, I might not be as patient as the officer next to me. I'm gonna do what I need to do to try to calm you down. But if I see that that's not working, I gotta put my hands on you, it ain't gonna be pretty. I gotta put my hands on. I gotta get physical with you now. You know what I'm saying?
And now jump into the courtroom now, Mike. And you've been to court numerous times. I've been to court numerous times. You know, when this plays out in court, the judge is their focus like, what are you doing? If had you just listened to the officer, you might not have been here. If you just went on ahead, you wouldn't have had these additional charges. You know, and that's the thing. You know, and that's probably show we probably do on a later day. You know how the court proceedings play out. But the judges are always going to ask trooper. I just say trooper because I was a trooper. Trooper, how was Mr. So-and-so? Were they polite and cooperative with you, trooper? No, sir, they weren't. They blah, 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 blah. I have video footage here if you'd like to take a look at it, Your Honor. Oh, you do? Oh, well, let me see it. And that right there changed the judge's whole decision and just hammer you. So, it's not going to pay for it. You're gonna have it go wrong for you on the side of the road, and then it's definitely going to carry over into the courtroom, and it's not going to play out for you in the courtroom.
And if you don't show up in the court, you're going to get another warrant. So the next time, there's going to be another issue with these officers having to deal with you about warrants or whatever reason. And you see how you acted this last incident. What you going to do next time? Is it going to be more the same or worse?
Right. Yeah, Blackjack, long as she don't jump the bench.
As long as she don't turn into Superwoman and fly over and attack the judge.
Right. And that's in reference to the young man, I guess, last week. He didn't like the disposition the judge gave him, and he kind of jumped over the bench at the judge. Because I think she gave him, 30 years, Mike? And for something I don't even know what it was.
Yeah, I don't even
but
know.
He got sentenced for 30 years, and he didn't like it, so he flew over the bench and tried and attacked.
Actually, I don't even think it was 30. I think it was a light sentence, actually. But he had, I don't have to look at it again, but I don't even think it was that big of a. It was what do you say? I don't think it was 30 years like that kind of sentence, but
I thought it was 30 years. He got a long sentence. Everybody's like, man, he just tacked on 10 more than that. Now he in there for the rest of his life. Like that, go, dude. But yeah, handle it in court, not on the side of the road.
Right.
I mean, you can't stress that enough, man. Like I said, you may agree or disagree with us, but at the end of the day, nobody should be getting hurt. I don't care if you're law enforcement or a citizen. You should not be getting hurt and get into a fight with law enforcement. It's just respect. And if you're a religious person, like I know Jesus Loves You is, and Delando, throw the scripture out there for me, Jesus. I think it's the book of Romans, where if you're a Christian, you should be obedient to those in the position of authority. The Lord commands us to be respectful to those and obedient to those in the position of authority over us. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, Jesus Love. I believe that it talks about it in the book of Romans.
Yeah, but you talk about most of the people that cops have to deal with in this nature, They're not criminals. I mean, they're not Christians.
Yeah, right. But you do have some of those who disagree with what we talk about, who are so-called. I know those are ones I'm talking. Well, you should be obedient anyways, and you should be telling these young folks, the ones out here that out here doing no good. Hey, you need to act right. You get stopped by the police, just do what they tell you to do, and we handle it in the court.
She could use her bonnet as a battering ram. All right.
Right.
And
okay. Sorry, my Hebrews 13:17. Thanks, Jesus 11. I knew you knew it. Thanks, bro. But yeah, man. Oh, go ahead, Mike. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's good. I mean, like you say, under any circumstances, you shouldn't be getting hurt. This lady, who knows? She would have maybe got booked. Maybe they would have rolled her a ticket once she got to the jail and released her. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? She wouldn't have gotten no resisting arrest charge. You know what I'm saying? So she made this situation into something way more than it had to be. And then you'll have people that will say, all this because of a license plate error? No. All this because she decided not to go with the program. All right. That changed stuff. The minute she says you ain't towing my car, or I ain't coming with you, or I don't care about this now, that's what changes the situation. Okay. So that's kind of silly to say. That's like saying if I stop somebody for a stop sign violation and they got a warrant and they decide to fight with me after I'm arresting them for the warrant, it wasn't worth it because all it was a stop sign violation. Well, that's kind of silly, isn't it? That's the officer's job, is to address those things in front of them. Like you say, you got 10 hours in your shift. Okay, you got to do something. Okay, that's part of what cops do. Okay, in California, I run plates all day when I was a cop. You know what I'm saying? You never know what you're going to come up and find. You might say it's a fishing expedition. Yeah, your job is to find crime. Sometimes you ain't gonna have a cook come up to you and say, "Here, I'm breaking the law, officer. Here I am. Take me." No, you're gonna have to go look for that stuff. One of the ways to do that is running plates. You might come up with a stolen vehicle. How else do you think people get stolen vehicles back? That's one way. Okay, so people I think don't understand, or they don't know what cops do, or they need to make up their minds what they want their police to do. Do you want your police to find crime, or do you want them to just respond to crime? You know what I'm saying? Some people will say they don't understand the find crime aspect.
Right. And then when you respond to crime, how should you respond to that crime?
Right.
Do you just address that one thing? So in other words, you call me for a break and entering in your house, and then I get your pedigree and I run the homeowner's information, and that homeowner has a warrant for his arrest. Well, do I act on that, or do I not act on that? Right? He has a warrant for murder. Do I act on that warrant for murder, or do I just simply, my reason for this call to come to this residence was strictly to take a report for the breaking and entering?
Yeah, or even less than that. Let's say he has a warrant for petty theft. Do I act on that warrant or not? Well, it's my job to act on that warrant, no matter what it is, right? That's your job. That's what you're expected to do. It may be trivial to you, but it ain't trivial to the victim who had that property stolen, right? It ain't trivial to them. So, you got to understand the role of police. It's not just to respond to crime, it's to find crime. And you got to understand what that means. How is that done? That's why. So instead of trying to figure out ways to fight what the police is doing, wouldn't you want to help your local police out to find crime, fight crime, do whatever they do, whatever they need to make sure my city is safe? Okay.
And then you can still weed out the bad apples. Yeah,
sure, of course.
You're gonna be able to weed out the bad apples. But what you don't want to do is deter people from wanting to be a police officer. right? We need good police officers, right? We need people who are going to be stand-up citizens and enforce the laws on the books. And yeah, you had those officers out there that overreach. And like sometimes, for example, dangling objects from your rearview mirror here in Virginia. Well, it used to be a primary offense. Now it's a secondary offense. Guys would write that. Like, it's a bullshit ticket, right? But it's a legitimate ticket. Did I ever write that? No. I had disagreed with that. That's all right. As long as it's not obstructing your view, I was fine with the small little, car air freshener, hanging from there. Now, no problem. Now, if you had 30 air fresheners hanging from your rear view mirror like that, all right, man, just take a few of them down so it's not obstructing your view, right? But I wouldn't write the ticket, right? I just, so things like that, right? So, but are they wrong for writing it? No. Is it the bullcrap ticket? Yeah, it is. But it's a law. Lost it. So if you don't like the law, then you need to get with your local authorities or your local politicians and get that off the books.
Right. I mean, every state could have some slightly different laws, slightly different things. I encourage our viewers to look at your vehicle code in your state and see what those vehicle laws are. See if you can have something hanging from your rear view mirror, or see if you need that third brake light that's in the back window or not. See if you can modify anything on your vehicle, or what you can modify on your vehicle. All that stuff is spelled out in your state's vehicle code. It's a big, thick book usually with all the traffic laws involving vehicles are in. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So check that. You know what I'm saying? If we're wrong on something, hey, bring it up to us. We'll check it and double check it. And if we're wrong, we'll tell you. You ain't got no problem saying that. Laws change all the time. You know what I'm saying? New laws pop up every year, right? Changes to laws pop up. I know one time it used to be illegal in California to have a cover over your license plate, whether it was clear or not. It's my understanding that has changed now. You can have a cover over your license plate as long as you can still see the plate.
Right. And again, that's one of those things you need to find out, because again, like here in Virginia, you can't have that. It has to be clear. You can have a cover, but it has to be clear. You can't have it at the smoked out. So, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up for tonight. We truly thank each and every one of you for joining us. Please share this out, like it, and to subscribe to our channel if you're new to our channel tonight. And we'll be back next Thursday with another video. If you have something that you would like for us to look at, go ahead and email it to us over at brothers-in-law21@gmail.com, and we will get it on the show. If you'd like to be a guest on our show, hit us up at the brothers-in-law Gmail or brothers-in-law21@gmail.com, and we'll work with your schedule and do a recording or live and have you on the show where you can break down the video with us, even if you disagree with us. So if you're one of those haters out there that can't stand it, I have the police flag out there, well, come on the show and let's have a conversation. All right, this is what it's all about. We have to bridge that gap. All right, you get to know Mike and I, we get to know that we're not bad dudes, man. We both love police.
Trying not to be
right.
Of course, we police. I was a police officer for 26 years, so I have a different view on the job itself. Okay, so what I'm telling you is based off of years of training experience of what I did on the job. So of course, I'm a police supporter. No one is a supporter of bad police, okay, or police that are knuckleheads. Ain't nobody a supporter of that. Cops ain't a supporter of that. But the role of a police officer, the job that entails as a police officer, that alone, that's why I'm a police supporter, a strong police supporter for that reason. Because I know what they have to go through, know what they have to deal with, know what kind of people they have to deal with. Okay. And I think policing has gotten worse and worse over years as far as what they have to deal with. You know what I'm saying? To fight more law. Yeah. But thanks for joining us. Jesus loves you. Tone, I see you. Delando, you know, appreciate you guys coming on. Goat, Blackjack, you know, we see your comments on here for sure. So we love the comments. Thanks for giving of us. If you wanna point something out that you think that you didn't know about or whatever it is, feel free to comment on it. But thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yep. And so we'll be back next week, same time, same sandbox. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be safe, and we'll see you next week, fam.
See you, dog. Peace out.